I recently had a chance to interview a fascinating person. His name is Wade Bergner, children's author and founder of the Emotional Agility Matters series. I was able to get some great insight on topics of emotional resilience, self-worth, self-confidence, and human motivation. As a child, Wade was labeled with a reading disability, and this label etched a level of empathy within him that runs deep. His misplaced self-worth created unnecessary stress and disconnect in his life. He leaned into overworking, out-hustling, and chasing something that was never outside of him or any of us, that being self-worth. What may have appeared to others as a constructive approach to evolve or succeed in life was without question an unhealthy and unbalanced approach to life. Through his evolution, he came to know that a child's mind is like a new computer, devouring all information that crosses their path, good and bad. At a child's early development stage, they're desperately seeking guidance in hope of formulating an identity that will serve them. Studies have shown that by the time a child reaches the age of 18, they've heard "don't do" or "don't say" over 150,000 times, compared to less than 2,000 words associated with encouragement, self-worth, and belief. This ratio raises havoc on a child's subconscious mind as they seek to mold their identity. Wade's series of books is intended to reinforce a child's unconditional self-worth and awaken their mind to their innate power and the splendid mysteries hidden within their everyday life. Wade is in awe of the great power and opportunity that parents and teachers have in making a profound difference in a child's life. Wade experienced this firsthand and is committed to spending the rest of his life paying that gift forward. Despite his reading challenges, Wade went on to graduate from college at Winona State University, where he earned athletic All-American honors in track and field, along with being inducted into their Athletic Hall of Fame in 2019. Wade was also recently included as a marquee Who's Who biographical listee. Wade was blessed to have a high school track coach intervene and instill a once-buried gift, the gift to run fast and far. This newfound gift led to success and recognition throughout high school and college. Because his coach believed in him, this made all the difference and helped Wade to believe in himself. The confidence he found on the track carried him into the business world, where he became a small business owner of both a book display marketing company and a full-service healthy vending machine business. After encountering some life-changing events, Wade's now pursuing a more purposeful journey in life. His newfound passion for writing and life experiences shows in his entertaining stories of hope and resilience to children, families, and schools. Wade lives in Maiden Rock, Wisconsin, and is the father of two wonderful young men, Leo and Max. Wade is an avid runner and endurance athlete who thoroughly enjoys the outdoors. Reading with or to a child creates a special place, one that we should never stop visiting or outgrow. In his words, Wade says, "It's in the small moments when we feel the other person fully present, fully engaged, connected, and accepting that we make the most powerful, enduring bonds." I'd simply like to share my journey in hopes that it might serve others in some small way and expose the light that's within each and every one of us. I feel a level of lightness that had been missing from my life, a knowingness and oneness that's available to all of us. It's a place that sadly goes away when we age and goes against what we've been taught or exposed to throughout our lives. This is a daily challenge to find the light inside each one of us, and it will eventually reap amazing benefits to us all. You can contact Wade Bergner at facebook.com/wade.bergner, website www.bergnerbooks.com, or email wadebergner@outlook.com. How you doing, Wade?
Well, I'm doing great, Nick.
Good,
Really,
good.
really a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate your time and all the great work you're doing.
Yeah, and you as well. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. Can you tell me, kind of give me a background and a little bit of a bio about yourself and what you've been doing, working on currently?
Yeah, I guess after life experiences, I found myself in a different area that I never really knew I enjoyed and loved doing so much, but it's writing children's books
Hmm.
and my life's journey and challenges and life things that were just thrown at me brought this to my attention, and it feels really good to be in this space and finally being in a spot where I feel closer to home. Feel like this is really where all the things that were brought to me, good and bad, that allow me to give the parts of myself and share with kids and families and schools what might be able to help them along. A series of books that have begun to create is called the Emotional Agility Matters series. So really what I want to do is help children find tools and deliver them in a fashion that's entertaining through children's books, and so they can become aware of their attitude, aware of their surroundings, and their connection to being part of and connected to everything.
You touched on a really great topic here, emotional resilience. That is so important. Can you kind of tell me what age groups are you kind of trying to focus on mostly?
Well, I'm really trying to get kids that are probably between 7 and 9, that age group. There's that transition as we grow older, we start to fade away from that innocence and that connection to nature and the playfulness, and I'd like to be able to help bridge that gap and help extend it and plant seeds in their mind about being a child longer and paying attention to the things that really make you feel good, not because of people are telling you that this is what you need to do, and not force yourself to have something to identify with. Allow yourself to pay attention and do the things that bring you pleasure. And if outside forces aren't encouraging it, still be strong and know that there's something that's within you that's connected to and guiding you to do the things that feel good to you and will allow you to be stronger, and the people around you will pick up on it, and we all benefit from that. There's a lot of hidden things within the book that I really want to bring to children's attentions and families' attention, but creating a children's book that gives parents and teachers a chance to discuss some of these things at the end of the book, and whatever they might have picked up and might not have picked up, hopefully there's enough things in there that they'll either be stored in their subconscious mind or will be discussed and create a little portal for parents and kids to talk about their emotions. And it's okay to talk about things that are going on in life that are uncomfortable, or and to have that sacred time.
That's really great stuff. It's very powerful. Tell me a little bit about how Bergner Books got started and how this kind of all.
Well, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah,
I think I can lean into the direction and summarize it a little bit. But as a child, I was diagnosed or labeled with a reading disability, and that within me etched a level of self-worth, or it had me doubting myself for many, many years. And I felt like I had to overachieve or had to do these things to feel like I was connected or had an identity. Because I think that's what kids, they need to find their group or who they are or what. So that was the beginning of my learning process, and that created a lot of different things that occurred in my life. And running was something that I was fortunate enough to find that really allowed me to build some confidence. I met a coach that encouraged me and really believed in me, and that really made me believe in myself. So that's where things were leading, and that's something that was sitting in the back of my mind back at the time in high school and college. But after I graduated from college, then I really didn't know for sure what I was going to do, because academics wasn't of interest. I just wanted to run and to just continue to do that. But I was very fortunate. I spent some time doing some different jobs, found a company that was a startup company selling books to schools. And it was a great opportunity where I started off on ground level and built this business. So I did that for almost 20 years. And that was my involvement with schools. And I enjoyed being able to be around and grow a business. After that, it was time to move on. I didn't still know for sure what, but I left that to go into start a healthy vending machine business, and did that for a few years. And after 4 years of doing that, and maybe again proving to myself that I can do these things, I can start a business, but I didn't feel right. Something felt so wrong, and I just stepped away after a couple months of trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I stepped away, and a number of things happened after that happened. I went through a divorce. My best friend, he committed suicide.
Oh,
And
that's terrible.
so I spent a lot of time reflecting on what am I doing? there was a lot of growth that took place because of that pain, and began to learn is that I'm just going to I'm going to start trying things and find out and pay attention to what feels good. And so did a number of different things. But one of the things that really was powerful that led me to writing was that I met an individual that had a similar vision to me, and we started to work on a nonprofit organization called Real You to help empower children with their self-esteem and build, with emotions and mindfulness and some of these things that we really both thought was really powerful. And I found myself really enjoying the creative part and began to notice how I was losing myself. I felt like I lost myself when I was writing and lost track of time. And it felt just like something I hadn't felt before. And then while I was doing that, the other role or position I took was I was a substitute teacher or a teacher's aide. And I enjoyed thoroughly spending that time with children, working with them, small groups, or just helping teachers. And so those two things combined, really understanding that how good it felt writing, and then be able to spend that time with kids. That's probably how Bergner books began.
What you talked about was really important. It was really deep. So there's some really great themes here that I want to touch on. Let's talk about your entrepreneurial spirit. I see you as one of these really tenacious entrepreneurial people that you just jump at opportunities. You see an opportunity and you look at it and you're like, okay, so what can I do with this idea? You're an idea guy, it seems to me. Like you have these ideas, you have these visions that you want to accomplish, and you're a big idea guy. I think that's kind of what we have in common too. The only thing that kind of separates us is I've never been a small business owner primarily. What I do is I always kind of try to take the safe route. I have these side projects. You can see that I do a whole bunch of side stuff, these ideas, but they're not necessarily really formed, and I work on them when I can. So I have fits and starts, like ebb and flow, but it doesn't really work. It's not really, it doesn't have legs and like taken off or anything. I guess maybe the question next would be, do you find it really difficult to be an entrepreneur and to keep driving ahead with that, with an idea or a business? And there are some really dark times, right, that go along with that.
Yeah.
It can be successes, and there can be some really dark times too to get through.
Well, most certainly. Try not to second guess myself and worry. I probably, in hindsight, I'm sure people are curious or wonder, why don't you pump the brakes? There's so many different things that come at you. There's some things I just can't not try. And the way I love to look at it, and I think it's just the best way to look at it, is that things always work out. Somehow things will work out. If it's a strong enough push to really, it just has to come out. And I failed more times than I can even keep track of. But at the same time, I know they're all little pieces that'll help when I find my lane. And I like to think, and maybe I haven't found my lane. Maybe the books aren't, but I think I'm getting close. And I think all these little things that I've tried and I'm learning, and it's just a healthy way to look at life. I mean, we might go to school. The best education is just your life. Just paying attention to things, and I don't pay attention just to the things that you think are educational. Pay attention to, nature and the feeling within you that just is saying something's out of alignment or something. Did you notice, this, or slow down? And those are the things that times where it'd be simpler if I could just have a regular job, it's cost a lot of relationships. There's things that I really, tough to admit to it, but it's, it's the reality of it. It's who you are. And if you can't come to grips with that's just who I am. And it's the way. And so if I can punch some of these with my books, that'd be a great thing. And just accept who you are, and pay attention to those things that feel really, really good. And there's so many things that I love about sports and athletics, but I also think that there's just so many other things that kids and people in general should just, if there's something that lights you up, make sure you spend that time with it, because And it doesn't only just light you up, it lights the people around you up. They feel better. It makes them, want to be around you, or they makes them think, yeah, maybe that is fun.
Yeah, I think that's just a normal course of life that we go through, where we have to accept certain things and we mature as we age. One thing I wanted to really touch on was that the self-confidence and self-worth thing. See, I can relate to you on a very deep level on that. For various different reasons in my own life, we all have different lives, but I can relate to how you felt and how I'm sure millions of people feel at that base core level. For whatever reasons they have those feelings, or where they grew up with those feelings and they had to deal with them and cope with them, either let it destroy them, or they pushed through and they found their way somehow. That's me. I'm an anomaly. I've known it all my life. I've never tried to really fit into one type of mold, because I knew it was, at some point I had to come to the realization that I just don't fit into a cookie cutter mold. It was liberating to know that, but it was a gradual process over time. So we have things that happen to us. You mentioned a suicide of someone that was very close to you. A cathartic moment I had was when my mother died. She died of Alzheimer's, and it was a slow decline, but then it sped up at the end, and I basically watched her waste away, which was really horrifying to see. Someone who's so close to you, and my mother was a wonderful person and really kept me going when I had dark times. And I'm not going to get into my story, but I wanted to let you know that your themes, they resonate so well. They're so relevant. That's why I wanted to get you on this call, because I wanted these core themes. I wanted you to really go off on a topic for a few minutes at least, and then just kind of tell me from your perspective how you felt, what you've been through, where you're going with that. And I really love that it seems to me you have this intuition, but it's like half and half. You have an intuition about what you want to do, and then you start going in that direction, but then you look at these signals, right? You have to look at the signals. If you get negative signals, you don't want to go in that direction. If you get positive signals, you want to go in that direction. So you're being guided slowly, and you're taking your chances and your opportunities, but you got this intuition, like, I know what I want to do, but I have to look for these signals, and they have to be strong enough. These signals have to be strong enough that I have to go in this direction, because I know there's a purpose here. There's a long-term purpose, because we can always go after short-term, but that's always just kind of instant gratification stuff. I have done too much in my life. I've always been going for the short-term stuff, not looking at the long-term. And that's what I want to kind of get from you is, I want to get into your mindset, like what really drove you. And I think I see it. You're looking at the higher purpose. You're looking at what is the biggest impact I can make with what I can do, because we can only do so much, and we can partner with people, and we can get strong people to help us become stronger, and we can mold those ideas and shape those ideas and run with them. I think we need to continue the conversation, you and me, talking about this topic, and topics related to this. What I'd like to do eventually is to get another session and have you talk about publishing, what it takes to publish a book. What are the risks? What are the upsides? What are the downsides? Would you be willing to do that?
Oh yeah, I'd love this. I mean, I knew we had a lot in common, and there's
Yeah,
things, but there's just there's
there's a lot
definitely
of
something I
topics.
want to
Yeah.
speak into. I'm so glad you're giving me the time. But one of the things that I get asked, and it's a great question we should all ask, and that's what's your why? And I have kind of a different take on that, and I think that's a really, like I said, really important for us all to know that. I feel it inside me now. It's just that it's like it's a chip embedded. I don't have to really even read the script. I just know it's there.
Yep.
I'm not there yet, but there's a level of trust that things, and I'll meet the right people. I'll read the things that I need will come at the right time. And it's a leap of faith, but just makes me feel alive when I step into that. And when I really step into that,
Yep.
and I've got as many, if not more faults than anyone else. There's just lots of things that I need help with. And wherever I'm taking this, I need other people around me. We all need other people around me. Fortunate to have a great conversation just last night with my youngest son. I've got a sophomore in high school. He hadn't done one of his assignments, and asked him, what's going on? Can I help? He said, no, I ask for help if I need it at school. I said, I just want you to, to know that that's really important for you to know, is that ask for help. One, ask for help, and two, be willing to help when there's things that you can help with. Those two things alone can take you a long way. But if you think you know everything and you're not willing to ask for help, you're just running with your brakes on. Some people are far more intelligent, have lots of abilities in different areas. Sometimes that isn't always the best either, because they have that false sense that they can do it all on their own. And that's the sooner we learn that, the better. And these are things that I knew earlier on I needed to lean into. I felt the strong need to lean into being extra appreciative and extra grateful to the people that did step up, because I would not have been able to make it through college and high school without the help of people stepping in and teachers stepping in. I think that was a self-worth thing that it took a long time to get over. I didn't spend as much time as you doing the Toastmasters, but there was something that pulled at me and said, now is the time. I always knew that I needed to learn how to have a voice. I needed to be able to speak. I didn't quite understand why or when. I just knew that I there would be a point that I needed to do it. And so I did it for, 3-4 months just to get through the first initial thing. And so that allowed me to be able to step in and say, if I'm going to speak about things that are important to me, it needs to be showing that I have this self-worth, and tell my story in a way that allows them to realize, hey, we all have it. It's there. It's not something you have to earn. It's just simply God-given or given to you day one, regardless of who you are, your beliefs and whatnot. It's just to let it unfold in due time. If you have to go through some times where you struggle, that's just part of the path.
Yeah, boy, your messages are they're out of this world. They're so fantastic. I don't even know how to respond to them, because they're just so right on. I do want to get into some detail about running success, because I basically went through a lot of the same things you did with running. I pushed myself because I knew I had some talent. Because of the low self-worth and self-esteem, I overdid it, and I paid prices for that. But now I've learned to incorporate it into my life in a healthy way. I think that is really important. Sometimes you just don't know until you go through the fire, and then you find out through injuries or getting into a low mental status, driving yourself too hard for too long, that you decide it's not worth it, and I need to pull back. I need to reevaluate, and it's like, where am I going with this talent of mine? Because I'm still a competitive runner. I still have that competitive spirit in me, and I think you and I are about the same age, if not like the same age.
I think you might be right. 55.
54. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, we're around the same age, and I think we even competed once in a race somewhere around La Crosse or La Crescent or something.
Yeah.
Yes, I noticed your name in the results, and I was like, God, this guy's crazy fast, and he's in my age group. It's like, what is this? What? This guy's an anomaly like me. It's like, what's going on here? Because I think you and I are both still really competitive. We have these genetics that just don't want to give up. Like whether they're mental genetics or they're physical or a combination of both, we don't want to give in. We don't want to give up. And we have this drive inside of us that keeps us going, because I'm not done. I'm not done competing. I know for a fact. I don't think you are either. If I would be so bold as to read I don't know. You tell me.
I keep thinking I am. I keep thinking it, because there's been so many, and I'd say this was probably over 10 years ago, but I had enough injuries. That's probably been even more, where I had to go through like withdrawals of not being able to run, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore. The injuries just kept coming and coming. So then I learned to swim. I learned to bike, and now I crave running, but I don't need it. And that's tough to say, but I love it. I absolutely love it, and I'm again coming back off of another injury, I had to have a surgery, but I still find myself going out the door 2 weeks after surgery. I'm walking. 3 weeks after, and I'm shuffling. And so in another week or two, I'll be running it. It's in there. And I keep saying, no, I don't need to compete. I don't need, what am I doing? I don't have anything to prove. But I love the environment. I still think there's something there to explore, and I can't explain it. Maybe you can better than I can.
I can't explain it either. I think you just said it right there. We can't express it in words. It's just a feeling we have, and it's not going away. Maybe I might feel different at 60 or 65 or whatever, but right now I had a rebirth at some point around mid 30s, kind of 40-ish, where I was out of the game for too long because I was raising a family and working a job, and how all the time is dedicated to obligations in life. And it was like around 40, 41 where I got back into the game again, and I built myself up, and it took a process of about 3 or 4 or 5 years. I built myself up to high school race speed again. It was the most liberating feeling in the world, but again, it had a price because I was trying to raise a family and doing all the obligations of work and family aside from that, and it got to be too overwhelming at that point, so I had to take a step back again. But again, I don't want to make this story about me. I can just relate to you so much in that respect, and it really has to do with the core feelings of self-worth and self-respect and self-esteem and all those things that self-confidence that we struggle with so much. I think a lot of us struggle with, but we don't ever talk about really. And resilience. Some of us never really learn that emotional resilience. I struggle with that for many years, being emotionally, what's the other term I'm thinking of? Emotional intelligence. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Emotional intelligence. I struggle with that all my life, and I still struggle with it. And when you're in relationships, it's doubly hard. When you're raising a family with different personalities, you produce kids with different personalities. Choose to live your life with a partner who is compatible with you in a lot of ways, or in a lot of ways they're not. So it's never going to be perfect. And I don't want to get into that aspect too much of it either. Very big challenges with that, with any relationship, to make it work or not work, or decide when enough is enough. We don't know. Sometimes we just don't know.
Yeah.
We have to look at the signals, and we have to say, well, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but is this the direction I need to go in, or is this direction I need to go in? We can't look back. We have to make a decision. We got to move on. Those are tough. Those are really tough decisions to try to get through. And I think a lot of this conversation I'm just going to table right now. Thank you very, very much. This has been awesome.
Yeah. Sounds wonderful. Yeah, like I said, great to meet you. Great to be able to talk to you a little bit more. And yeah, I listened to your interview that was on YouTube maybe a couple years ago. Learn a little bit more about you and what makes you tick. And yeah,
it's really difficult to put yourself out to the world. Really. I mean, I struggled with that, and there are things that helped, and I'm still struggling with it. I was really into it when I was in Toastmasters, and then it's now kind of like I'm entering another phase where I have to kind of reevaluate again and decide what I'm going to do with the stuff that I have. I want to let you go. We'll talk about details for the next time.
All right. Take care, Nick. Great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. Thanks a lot, Wade.
Thank you for watching. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up by clicking on the like button. Share your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe to our channel. Also, be sure to click the notification bell when you subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.